Hey guys, let me know if you can hear me. Hey, let me know if you can hear. We can get going. Awesome. Think you can. We'll get going in just a second. Let a couple more people get in. Yeah, we'll just get going. So, we can start off with SPX 0DTE. Just a mid-market recap. We did, YouTube Live with the pre-market, had detailed write-up in the Discord, going through SPX full complex, AM and PM, kind of develop that swing trading time frame, kind of globally what's happened. Drill into 0DT, what those key levels are. So yeah, if you're new to Game Edge, I guess, new to kind of options market analysis, we focus on the SPX. Reason for that is just the size, liquidity, attention that it gets, liquidity it offers, significant amount in the SPX. So it's just a good proxy for general market positioning. And so again, we break that down between kind of all expirations and we focus in on 0DT. 0DT because that's a key time frame for intraday trading, which I know a lot of folks partake in. 50-60% of the volume happens on the 0DT time frame anyway. So, key levels coming into the session, 6,500, 6,475. Those are key kind of transition zone for the session. And then overhead, just a ton. When we look at the distribution of speculation in the pre-market, there's just a ton of speculation above us. We can look at the put open interest as well, kind of put speculators in the money puts, not a ton. So what that means is there's not a ton of fuel to help us move higher via folks closing their put position. So it's really going to come down to, call speculators stepping in, just seeing buying take place on an intraday basis. Held the bottom of our transition zone fairly well. Think of this as more of a zone, not an exact level. We'll get into our intraday tools in a second. So right now, breaking through 6,500 going to be important to see if we can hold that level, continue to progress higher up into kind of the call dominated part of the structure. Looking at net stat real quick, charm is fairly balanced right here. Not a ton to say there. Looking at intraday volume now, this is just our analysis of SPX 0DT volume, right? Calls on the upside, puts to the downside in red, calls in green. Fairly choppy action, starting to see a little bit of progression higher with the call centroid side. So if we want to see a continuation in the move higher, we're going to need to see this angle of ascent in the call centroid to continue to move higher. And right call centroid is simply just on a 5-minute basis, we aggregate the call volume and the put volume, find the middle of the distribution and plot that point because that is representative of speculators' behavior. And so, plotting these centroids throughout the session just gives us a kind of lean into what speculator behavior is. So, as a prime example, until really the noon hour, call speculator was moving lower. Then since noon, it started to uptick a little bit. So we want to see this continue to progress higher. And this dotted line, you may be asking, that's just the line of best fit, which that's just, a regression through the centroids. Basically saying all else equal, if what's happened from the open until this point in time continues, then this is the likely projected path of the centroids, and price follows centroids. But again, this is where the divergence is important because now the call speculation is starting to happen above the line of best fit. So that means that speculative behavior is changing and it's getting more aggressive to the upside. So we just want to see follow through there. We want to see 6,500 hold. Remember, that's key kind of transition zone, top of our transitions identified in the pre-market. And then looking at kind of the next tool on an intraday basis as well, that is helpful. Well, this is helpful on multiple time frames, but just looking at intraday basis right now, this is our a market trend model built off of the tick index. So if you're not familiar with what that is, just a simple way of measuring buying and selling kind of under the hood, what's happening in the market. You can Google Investopedia article if you want to kind of read more about that. Anyways, the cumulative tick, which is kind of our intraday metric, that's trending lower throughout the session, albeit not super aggressively, but nonetheless, it is moving lower. Filtered tick, which is our gauge of buying, of large buying versus large selling, you know, a little bit, but net kind of not much at all. Like last Thursday, this was a great example of just sustained large buying throughout the session, and since then it's just been incremental buying. Today a little bit of selling, but nothing really to write home about. So yeah, we're just watching that, you know, staying patient. This kind of just looks like chop back and forth. We can see the RSP index has been fairly choppy throughout the session. A little bit of a sell-off relative to SPY or SPX, RSP. Yeah, I mean so that probably tells me that the mega caps are probably outperforming. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, so you can see mega cap growth, large cap growth is outperforming, so that's probably why we're seeing the ramp there. Yeah, I mean, pretty good move from the Max 7. So keep that in mind, right? Progressing above 5,600, so that's key. 5,600 is going to be kind of that key level right now. Hopefully, you know, our intraday volume analysis, market trend model intraday is clear as well. If it's not, feel free to ask questions. Haven't seen any questions come through yet, so happy to spend time on that. Keep in mind as well that, you know, in addition to asking questions, if you go to GameEdge.us, which is our website, free courses, GameEdge FastPass. This is kind of our flagship education course, free to you. Sign up. You'll get our, you know, our entire methodology, tools, framework, strategies, all that good stuff. Basically, what a paid member gets. So by the end of this, you'll have an understanding of why the options markets today is important. Keep in mind, you don't have to trade options to benefit from this, right? You can still execute through futures, execute through stock, whatever it is. But having a fundamental understanding of the importance of options markets in today's modern market structure is important. And then we'll go through how we take advantage of that through our strategies, through our systems, through the tools that we have built. So yeah, that's what I have about 0DTE right now. Where do we go from here? So, right, the bias right now is sideways to higher so long as we are above 6,500. Want to see that call centroid continue to move higher. Want to see the market trend model continue to level out and even start to progress higher here. If it starts to, you know, angle the descent lower again, then that is kind of a readjustment of expectations there. Looking at, this is just a minute chart, which is, looks like our web app here, right? It's just a web app, it's just a visualization of options structure. But this is just in the Discord, right? You can just see all the call gamma above us, right? Kind of key strike of right here is 5620. So kind of a natural upside target, right? But again, need to keep plowing through all this, you know, delta and gamma above us. And the only way that's going to really happen is if we get, you know, more buys coming in. Yeah, we'll look at I'm about to transition to swing trading stuff, so we can get to that in a second. Just making sure, wrapping up on 0DT, folks have the questions answered that they want. But the centroid is the rate of change. Is the rate of change percent coming flat? Well, no. Well, it's flattening, yes. So, like to the call side, well, the rate of change is going to start moving higher, right? Because anytime the centroid is above the line of best fit, that line of best fit is going to start moving up. So just keep that in mind. Right, but yeah, kind of inferring though what the centroids are doing right now. So they're kind of starting to level out here. We just want to see a continuation higher. If not, then likely going to get some kind of just grind sideways, kind of sideways to higher drift throughout the rest of the session. And just so you know, there was a massive iron condor position put on. You can see it here. This is just a volume command that we have, very clear. It's like 64, 50, and 55, and 65, 40, and 45, something those type of strikes. So if you're looking at the volume command, this is it's pretty far out of the money, right? 100 points wide. I think it's like 30,000 contracts, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, does that answer the question? If it doesn't, type another one in. I'm happy to address it. So yeah, moving on to swing trading. So, right, it starts with market trend model, understanding from kind of a multi-day to multi-week time frame what's happening. With the railroad tracks, right, that's kind of our 1 to 3 day indicator. Our ribbon down, rainbow ribbon down here is kind of 1 week to 3 weeks. Something I noted in the pre-market was the ribbon. It's expanding higher, right? Typically 1 day to 3 day signal. We are on day, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like day 4 to day 6. So getting a little bit long in the tooth. This wasn't, shouldn't have been taken as being bearish from the market or like getting short, but it's just situational awareness, just knowing that we've had a nice move higher, albeit the market has been fairly choppy. But right, just something to keep in mind, where we could get a little bit of a rollover and just a little bit of profit taking or whatever it is. So yeah, starts there, and then it's important just going through our SPX game plan, just understanding, broadly looking at SPX-A, full complex, what the key levels are, SPX-P, understanding what the structure is, understanding if we're above or below those key transition zones. And yeah, using the Gex ratio, using the true deltas to gamma zeros, just to understand if, call or put speculation is growing or increasing day over day. And then, a couple things we do to help traders is, one, we have our P Transit plus Gex 100% mechanical strategy. So if you don't know about that, right, that's in the Game Edge Fast Pass I shared. There's a blog article on it as well, but it's just, again, our 100% mechanical strategy using 2 of our key upside levels. Very simple, the night before what your entries and exits are going to be. It's all documented for you here in the Discord, right? These were your entries, these were your exits. And then we're also running a live portfolio from July 23 forward. So over close to 350 trades documented. The statistics very close to the back testing, which does significantly outperform the SPY on really any time frame since 2013. Reason for 2013 is that it's when our data starts. And so, right, super high win rate. Yes, the losers are bigger than the winners, but that's where the win rate comes, and that's why we have the positive expectancy. And year to date, stats are more or less the same. Here's the current portfolio as it stands right now, 98% allocated. So yeah, that's it. Strategy 2 that we do is it's the wheel. So if you're familiar with kind of the options wheel strategy, right, selling puts on constructive stocks, stocks that you theoretically want to own, but are ideally in an uptrend. Just selling premium below, continue higher, collect that premium, do it again. But if you get assigned, start selling calls against it, all that good stuff. So yeah, we offer that, right? We just do a simple kind of trend overlay, which is like the Minervini trend template, if you're familiar with that. And then, Mike, I'll get to your question in a minute. And then we overlay just kind of the Game Edge options market analysis, which is simply just, okay, is a call is it call or put dominated? So if it's call dominated, trending higher, generally a good stock that's going to continue to go sideways to higher, and vice versa to the downside, or at least stocks you don't want to be getting long. So we have that, and then also in the swing channel, I have a couple other watch lists that I prepare in addition to our kind of core bullish stock list that you can run in the Discord proprietary screeners that we have. So I have a bull and a bear list, right? Bull list, over $100 billion market cap, just so we're not messing with crappy stocks that could gap up or down 20% on you, and there's adequate liquidity in these. The population size is big enough to where you're going to find trades. Right, and then above 21 EMA, just because people pay attention to that, simple kind of trend mechanism, and then call dominated regime. Those are just characteristics of stocks that are moving higher and should continue to move higher. And if they don't, then that's information that, you know, the thesis on that stock or maybe broadly in the market, things are changing. And then we have the bear list, which, you know, you could look to short these stocks or simply just not have these on your long watch list. So good to have there. And then I'll go through kind of posting charts of what looks good based off those watch lists, you know, actions I'm taking in the portfolio. Like yesterday, I was long UNH, Intel, and Citibank. I exited Citibank had a nice move higher today, got out of that. UNH, again, really nice move today, staying in that, but just wanting to get more premium out of that position before I take it off. Then Intel is just fine right now. So, yeah, we can go through some individual stocks if you'd like. I wasn't seeing a ton out there. Like Nike, look at Nike's one that was on the bear list I was watching today. Like if it breaks the lows, it should continue to move lower. Momentum's lower, all that good stuff. So yeah, Meta was the one I was watching yesterday. Didn't get into it today. Making a nice move though. Walmart was one from yesterday. Just options, couldn't get into that. Uber making a nice move today. Again, UNH, wow, up 8%, nice move. Intel just chopping inside days, so that's fine. Right, Citibank was one I got out of today, doing fine. So you wanted to. Mike, just going to your question real quick. I don't know if you're talking about like this table or maybe this right here, this volume. I'm not sure, but or maybe this part of these rate of change. Yeah, but again, that's just where like you can just intuitively look at this chart and understand what the rate of change is doing, right? Like if these centroids are just moving flat, it's all in relation to where line of best fit is too. So if we're above the line of best fit and trending, then the rate of change is going to be expanding to the upside. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. So yeah, someone wanted to look at coin. No, coin isn't on a watch list. Coin looks like crap, I think, right now. It's starting to make a turn, so it's above its P-trans level. Just go look at it real quick. Yeah, coin looks pretty good here. You know, transition kind of, right, just kind of naturally, where does the transition structure, or where does the structure transition, sorry. So, you know, 300 kind of the key level to the downside. 320 is kind of the key speculative point, ton of, you know, short-term speculation at this level. So kind of close to it right now, so maybe a pause is warranted. Looking at its monthly expiration, yeah, 320, a lot of activity up there. So kind of a natural monetization point, probably at 320. It's had a nice move, so 4% today, yeah. So, and then TSM, I mean, this thing's just moon, so really not a position that I can get in at this point, just too extended for myself, but and it's overshot kind of its plus Gex level at 250 right now, so some kind of mean reversion may be warranted here, just as monetization comes in. So that's what I got for those two. Let me know if you guys have any other stocks you want to watch or look at. I'll stay on here a couple more minutes. Don't mind doing it. Right, and these levels right here, that's just a script we offer. You guys can just create a trading view indicator and just copy and paste that. Pretty easy. UNH we're in. PLTR, nice move today, above transition. Let's look at PLTR real quick. PLTR, AMD. Tom will get the AMD. Yeah, PLTR right above the transition. Yeah, it looks fine. AMD, I think this was on my bear list. Yeah, I mean, from a full complex point of view, it looks fine. It's above the transition, 160 kind of short-term speculation all the way up to 200. Looking at this month's, next week's monthly expiration, honestly not super inspiring, right? We have in-the-money puts dominant as opposed to out-of-the-money calls. You want to see out-of-the-money calls, right? Because that is evidence of speculation to the upside. Looking at here, AMD right here. Yeah, I mean, I just hate that the price action is just lower, right? Lower lows, lower highs, so not that great. But, you know, if you're interested in getting aggressive in the name, like potentially this is a bottoming candle here, a local low, you can at least size your risk against that. Above P-Trans, so yeah, you know, from that base, if you want to do something there, it's fine. MU, nice move. MU was on the bull list last week. Dash, nice move. I just went through it TT, right? So, I mean, basically what I'm doing now, well, this is just a screener and trading view, but yeah, I mean, just go to the bull list and, you know, just start going down, see what looks good, right? What I was saying earlier is I want the stock above P-Trans, and I want it to be breaking prior day high. Why prior day high? Because, well, for one, what is moving higher should continue to move higher, and if it's not, then that's key information to your directional thesis that something could be changing. So it's kind of an easy risk management principle. And then, yeah, I just like to size against, I'll just show you an example. This is a good example. Like here is UNH. I got in on last Friday, or I guess it'd be 2 Fridays ago. Right, consolidation last couple days, broke above prior day high, so perfect. Size my risk against maybe this local low down here. Size my risk against P-Trans. Hopefully there's some confluence there. Or you can even size your risk against, right, the low of the prior day candle that you're using as your entry candle. So just very, very simple ways of sizing your risk, right? Kind of a confluence of just simple price action with the key levels that we generate. Nice. Looks like I just closed out of UNH. Just collected 75% of the premium there, so cool. Always good to have some winners. Does that answer your question, TT? I'll get to that, Tom, but TT, does that answer your question? Maybe. Same thing with Intel. I got in on, you know, last Friday, so just clear example of breaking through. Citibank. This was one I was in, got in on this day, so 2 or 3 Fridays ago. Yeah, I mean, you should just see the theme there. It's very, very simple. Disney. This was one I got in, I think, on last Friday. It just chopped around, so I just took break even yesterday on that trade. What else did I do? Tesla, same thing, right? You know, forming a bottom there. It's just maybe hard to see, but you guys can look at it in the Discord, right? Above P-Trans, so took that trade, nice move higher. What else is there? Yeah, Palo Alto Networks last week, just same. I mean, it's very simple, right? Just one setup, that's all you need, right? Just execute over and over again. Someone asked, what did you ask about? Yeah. Yeah, if it's near 0 gex, that's fine too. It's more of an aggressive entry, but yeah, that's fine. I mean, if the price action is constructive to the upside and it's holding 0 gex or p trans, like, that's fine. So lift. Yeah, I mean, it's at plus gex, so not a ton for me to do here, right? I mean, the time to get in was like last Tuesday, just the way that I do it, but nice move so far. We can look it on the web app real quick. Hey, let me know if there's any other questions. I need to get my hair cut at 2 o'clock, so I need to wind it up, but happy to answer any more. Yeah, just looking at lift, I mean, 18. God, it's $18 stock. Dang, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's got speculation up to 20. So I mean, so long as 18 holds, could, you know, possible to make its way up to 20. I'd rather do a retest and then move higher, but you don't always get what you want, right? Alright, cool. Well, with that, I'm going to end it. I need to get going, but appreciate you guys staying on, and we'll keep doing these as long as you guys like it and show up. Happy to do it. So, appreciate the time. I'll talk to y'all later, and you can watch the replay of this if you want to as well. So, adios.